We are moving on and moving forward with the act of forgiveness. What is up, my friend? Welcome back. This week, this day, today, we are talking about forgiveness and what it means to forgive. How do you forgive? What can you do to forgive? And all of the things that encompass forgiving. I'm actually going to give you an overview of what it means to forgive, an understanding of what it means to forgive. I'm then going to equip you with 3 different exercises that you can implement into your own life to put in your toolbox and your toolkit so that you can bring them out when you feel like you need to practice this idea of forgiveness. But before we get into that, I want to share with you what Mother Teresa once said. Mother Teresa once said, if you want to learn to love, then you must learn to forgive. And I think this is beautifully shared as she's such a beautiful and wise woman. Listen, forgiveness is going to be the key that helps you to ultimately unlock your greatest ability to let go. I think forgiving in and of itself is your ability to let go of the past so that you can move on and create happiness, peace, love, enjoyment in your life in the present moment. It allows you to let go of the past so you stop dwelling in the past so that you can begin to feel more fully alive in the present, hopeful for the future. Forgiveness is going to be your final step into the letting go process. It's going to be the ultimate act of releasing them, all of the hurt, all of the pain, all of the suffering, all of the good, all of the bad, into one big moment. And ultimately, this is going to take time. I wish I could say what I'm about to share with you is going to be enough, but that's not the case for most of us. It takes time. But understanding that time in and of itself is not the thing that's going to heal you. It's what you do in that time that can. So when you practice forgiveness while you're going through your singleness and your heartbreak, you're going to be able to forgive. It's going to feel good. And you know what? You might not even feel like you are being able to forgive them right away. Even when you're practicing it, you're like, well, I didn't really feel that. Yeah, well, it's a practice. It's a daily practice that you must implement into your own life so that you can experience this. This stuff that I'm teaching you can't be done once. It must be focused on daily so that you can experience the healing. Just because you did the worksheets once doesn't mean that you can't not revisit them. You must constantly learn how to forgive. You see, forgiveness is the process of letting go of negative emotions that have built up after someone has hurt you or wronged you. It's really important for you to understand that this is such an important step, a step that cannot be forgotten. It's a step in the healing process and allows you to be able to move forward from your hurt so that you can live more joyfully from your heart and remove yourself from the pain that you've experienced. Forgiveness then is not about forgiving the hurt or excusing someone's behavior, but rather it's about helping you to understand why the person acted the way that they acted. And then it's supposed to help you to understand, not only understand why they did what they did, but help you to be able to move forward with your life. When you make sense of why they acted the way that they did, or, have you ever understood, like, I don't understand why this is happening to me now, but one day you will? Have you ever had those experiences in life? It's kind of the same way with forgiveness. You're going to eventually understand why they did what they did, and you're going to come from this peaceful place, your heart center, rather than your hurt. And you're going to be able to move on and let go and act out of a place of love. Because ultimately, forgiveness is compassion, it's kindness. And don't make it so challenging for yourself. Listen, let's look back at your relationship real quick. Although I don't like you to dwell there, but I want you to think about all the things that you let go of and forgave, right? It's all of these things that the way that they made you feel, the things that they did, whether they got physical with you, verbal with you, you went through some type of a mental, physical, verbal abuse. Maybe they cheated on you and you welcomed them back into your life. Maybe they did something and you only saw the best in them. Those are all practices of forgiving because you're kind of letting go. You're kind of removing the past that they put you through, and you began to live in the present. So you forgave them before. Now it's time to do the ultimate forgiveness, forgiving yourself and forgiving them. Don't act like you haven't been able to forgive in your life. There's multiple moments that you could probably reflect and remember that, hey, I did forgive this moment. I did forgive them for this. I am going to use the word grace here. I hope you have grace for me, as I'm not a perfect, I can't remember everything that I've written or that I work on. And I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a little grace as I help guide you through this exercise. I'm not totally, I can't remember everything, but you know what I'm saying? Just you guys do it. You're doing it right now with me as you're being guided through this course here. And today I just want you to focus on forgiveness. That's an important step. That's a very important step. And I know you know this. So understand that. Remember, forgiveness is not about forgiving the hurt or excuses or excusing them. or their behavior or the pain that they put you through, but rather it's about understanding why the person acted the way that they did so that you can be able to move on, to move forward, to love fully once again. You see, forgiveness allows all of us to let go of the anger, resentment, bitterness that we may feel toward that person who hurt us. It is a way to release, hear me out, it's a way to release the pain that you are feeling so that peace can move into your heart. My friend, the importance of forgiveness is that it ultimately will allow you to move on and to heal your hurt heart so that you can move into your healed heart. It can help you to develop a healthier relationship and a more positive outlook on your life. It will be able to allow you to focus on the present moment rather than the painful past and dwelling in the past. Your forgiveness will unlock a hope-filled future, a peaceful present, and a happier version of yourself. When you learn to practice it on a daily, forgiveness ultimately can help you to open your heart back up, to love again and to be loved again, to give love, to trust, to develop healthier relationships with yourself, others, God, everything in between. And it will allow you to just feel more at peace with yourself, knowing that, hey, I will not allow myself to make the same mistake twice. I've learned from my mistakes. I've given myself grace, given myself forgiveness. Like, I forgive you for all the suffering I put myself through. I've given myself grace knowing that I didn't know what I didn't know. My worth wasn't where it was today. If I had the worth then that I do now, I would have never been in that same situation. Listen, it's okay to be where you are, but understand that you're not going to stay hurt. You're not going to stay in this bitterness. You're not going to stay in this bold. You're going to be able to invest your tears that you cried so that they water a better version of yourself. Every tear is an invested tear toward working through, moving on, and expressing your hurt so that you can live from your heart. Listen, forgiveness, my friend, is going to be a necessary part for you to be able to move on after heartbreak, because it allows you to heal, to let go of the hurt, and to let go of the anger that you're currently feeling. It's going to allow you to free yourself. It's one of the most important steps to this program. That's why I'm emphasizing this. It's the most important step, because if you cannot forgive yourself or you cannot forgive them, then you're not going to be able to build a better relationship with yourself. You're not going to be able to build a hope-filled future because you're going to be stuck in the past, dwelling in the pain. Forgiveness is going to allow you to realign yourself to be able to be present with me today and to be able to know that you've got a hope-filled future because you're starting to let go of the thing that hurt you the most. So understand that you are going to be able to forgive this week. You're going to be able to forgive. You're going to be able to practice forgiveness. I'm going to give you 3 exercises that's going to help you to be able to forgive so that you don't have to be like, well, I know I need to forgive, but how do I forgive? Well, these are some of the greatest exercises that I've worked myself through as well as other clients through. And there's so many different ways I think that you can forgive, but it's finding what works best for you. And ultimately, you've got to first off acknowledge the hurt, right? I'm going to take you through 7 quick steps that I think that can help you to really practice. So if you want to write these 7 steps down, perfect. If you just want to tune in, perfect. If you just want to, maybe just stop the recording as I continue to speak through this, cool, whatever, however you want to implement this in your life. But I want to give you 7 quick ideas that could potentially help you to practice and have practical steps to take. So the first thing when it comes to forgiveness is you've got to acknowledge the hurt. That's step 1. You've got to acknowledge what's hurting. And we've kind of done that already this week, right? We've already done that in the previous videos. We've learned to come to face with our truth, with our pain, with acknowledging, right, the actual hurt that we're experiencing. We've identified the feeling that we're experiencing. We must acknowledge that you have been hurt, and we must accept the emotions that come with it. That's what we've been working through, right? That's why you're here today. Do you remember what isn't acknowledged cannot be accepted? What isn't accepted cannot be healed? Well, remember, acknowledge the hurt. That's what I had you do in the previous videos. You've acknowledged it. And then it's time to accept the emotions that come with it, which is what we worked on. Then you must let go of the anger or the resentment or all the emotions that you're currently experiencing by understanding that holding on to these negative emotions, they will ultimately keep you stuck in your past. So you have a choice to make. Do you want to continue to make the same choice over and over again? The reason why you're stuck in your pain is because you're choosing to stay stuck in those emotions, to stay stuck in those thoughts, to stay stuck in your past. That's the reason why you're still hurting. And that's the truth. Maybe you need to slow that down. Maybe you need to speed that up. Regardless, the reason why you're still feeling the pain is because you're choosing to stay stuck in the past by reliving and thinking those thoughts. Remember, listen, the reason this pain is felt is because of the vision that we hold in our mind, the thoughts that we hold in our mind, the thoughts that we think on a daily basis. Listen, a lot of you don't have anything to look forward to. You lost your purpose, you lost your mission, you lost your vision. And here's what you need to do. You need to reclaim your purpose, your mission, your vision. You need something greater to look forward to in this time, because a lot of what's going on, a lot of the pain is not being replaced by the positive. So anytime I've experienced pain, I've written down what I was experiencing and understood that there was something greater I could choose to think about. So ultimately, something that I've done in my own life is I created this thing called the happiness folder. And we're going to talk about this in the future, but I also think it's going to be important to talk about now. Listen, anytime I feel down, anytime I feel hurt, anytime I feel stuck in my pain, I created a folder inside my iPhone. It's under the Photos app. It's just called Happiness Folder. They say pictures are worth 1,000 words, so I allow myself to go there. When I feel the painful past, when I don't feel like I can control my thoughts, when I feel like my thoughts are controlling me and I'm still stuck in the past, I created this happiness folder, and it's a folder full of memories of my wedding, of our vacations, of our successes, of our time of buying our car, moving, all these beautiful memories and moments, birthdays, parties, family gatherings, people that bring me happiness. And I go back through those and I listen to something positive, something encouraging, meaning some type of positive music, not sad music. See, a lot of you, when we feel bad, how many do you turn on, sad songs, music? Yeah, many. Okay, listen, stop doing that. That's not going to help you to heal. Don't get into the emotion. Get yourself out of the emotion and do things that can take you out of the negative emotion. A lot of you expect these positive thoughts to just generate by themselves. It's never going to happen for you. You've got to take command of your mind. And one of the ways that you can begin to do that today, create that happiness folder in your iPhone, and you're going to see great change. Anytime you feel like you're stuck in the past, create a happiness folder that allows you to revisit a positive part of your past. It becomes a game changer. So the third thing, you can ultimately focus on is on yourself. Spend more time reconnecting with yourself and looking into a future, creating that hope-filled future. And we're going to talk about that in the up and coming videos on how to create a hope-filled future, that vision, something that you can begin to do. You need to find healthy outlets to remove that negative experience and pain. It's the letting go process, whether that be writing, maybe talking to friends, maybe engaging in some kind of creative outlet like playing guitar, maybe it's recording a podcast, maybe it's speaking, maybe it's find something that will help you to express your feelings. Maybe it's working out, but it's ideally not allowing yourself to sit in this mind that's keeping you trapped in your pain. And then what we're going to focus on in the up and coming weeks when we start to rebuild our relationship with ourselves is really practicing self-compassion, like treating yourself with kindness and understanding and respect. Listen, all of these things we're going to cover. That's the beauty of this course, is you're going to learn how to find healthy outlets. You're going to learn how to focus on yourself. You're going to learn how to practice self-compassion. You're going to learn how to make the conscious decision to be able to forgive. That's what we're working on today. Making a committed decision to forgive the person who hurt you, even if it feels impossible. You must write it out. I am going to forgive because I have no other choice. Because if I don't forgive, I'm going to stay trapped in my hurt. I'm not going to be able to live in my heart. I'm going to stay trapped in my hurt. And you deserve better. And then finally, you're going to let it go, right? Once you've made that final decision, that committed decision, that one decision, I'm going to just forgive. I'm going to practice forgiveness in everything that I do. Every mistake that I make, every time I get cut off in traffic, every time someone blows the horn at me, every time I get the middle finger, every time someone does something bad, I'm just going to choose to forgive, not just hold on to that pain and frustration and allow it to build in my heart, to close my heart off. I'm going to learn how to let go. Now, listen, I know that was a lot, but ultimately that's forgiveness. That's the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not holding on to anger. It's not holding on to resentment. It's not holding on to frustration. It's not holding on and dwelling in the past. It's about being present. If you need a book for presence, read The Power of Now. If you want a hope-filled future, if you want to learn about vision, maybe read Lewis Howes' The School of Greatness. It talks a lot about vision. If you want to learn how to move on from the pain, there's a book called Letting Go. Give that a try. There's so many different resources out there that you and I can talk about if you need more resources besides me. I'm not here to be your everything. I'm just here to contribute to your overall journey. This is just one step in your journey. This is hopefully going to open up outlets to allow you to invest in yourself, find peace in your presence, in a hope-filled future. Listen, so this week is really just learning how to forgive. Okay. That's the overall objective. We are going to do some deep cleaning in this area of forgiveness. The objective this week is to just be openly, honestly, and lovingly toward yourself. It's just about being open, honest, and loving toward yourself so that you can forgive. And to do that, you and I must know what forgiveness truly is and what is it not. Then we must do our very best to practice forgiveness before we can begin to fully move on to a newer and happier version of ourselves. So what we can't forgive, we can't let go of. A lot of you came to me, and the reason why you're in this course is because you're like, how do I let go? How do I forgive? How do I move on? Well, what we can't forgive, we can't let go of. If you just learn to practice forgiveness and implement these 3 exercises in your daily life, things are going to change for you. It's going to be a beautiful thing. And we can begin to let go today. But what we can't let go of will be found in the present. So no matter where you go, the hurt will always be there with you. So let's change that so we can experience more freedom, more aliveness, more happiness in our life, in our relationships. So on to this week's exercises. So I don't really think I need to cover too much about what forgiveness is. But the first big exercise here, my friends, is ideally, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Let's see here. Where is it at? Okay, we sticking along here. We are gonna go share my screen. Bada boom. And then bada bing. Here we go. See my screen? Perfect. So forgiveness information worksheet. So this week, what we're really going to focus on is the 4 phases of forgiveness worksheet. You're going to use these 4 phases of the forgiveness worksheet on a daily basis. And you're going to continue to work through these. So ideally, this is a 5-page powerful document that's going to teach you how to really begin to work through forgiveness. And there's 4 phases to this, but understand this. I want you to read through this. I'm not going to actually go through this step by step because I feel like you should really spend time with this document so you can really understand it. But I've written this document to help you understand what forgiveness is. So understand that forgiveness is the process where someone who has wronged you chooses to let go of their resentment and treat the wrongdoer with compassion. That's a lot to ask for. I swear we could spend another 24 hours on this specific assignment alone, but understand deepening understanding of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or condoning the wrongdoing, granting legal mercy, or reconciling a relationship. You can forgive a person while in no way believing that their actions were acceptable or justified. On the other hand, simply saying the words "I forgive you" or accepting an apology is not forgiveness. In fact, forgiveness can occur without ever speaking to the wrongdoer. Forgiveness is an emotional change that occurs within the person who has been wronged. It's an emotional change. It's an emotional acceptance. It's an emotional letting go-ness. Okay, so really, here's what I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over this page right here, and then I will kind of help you walk through this real quick. But here's what forgiveness is. It's the decision to overcome pain that has inflicted by anyone else. Letting go of anger, resentment, shame, and other emotions associated with an injustice that you've been put through, even though that they are responsible feelings or reasonable feelings. Treating the offender with compassion, even though they are not entitled to it. That's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness isn't forgetting the injustice. It's not condoning or excusing the offender's behavior. It's not about granting legal mercy to the offender. It's not about letting go, but wishing for revenge. Understanding what forgiveness is to you is going to be important. So that's the first step that I really want you to think about. What does forgiveness mean to you? Write out your definition. Understand, what does it mean? What does it feel like? What are you going to experience when you are able to forgive? Like, how do you know that you were able to forgive? Well, this is going to be the first definition. How do you forgive? Well, this is how you do it. Okay, the 4 phases of forgiveness. It's the uncovering phase is number 1, decision phase number 2, the work phase number 3, and the deepening phase number 4. During the first phase of forgiveness, you will improve your understanding of the injustice and how it has impacted your life. So you'll be able to understand the breakup, the heartbreak, the separation, the divorce that you went through, and how it impacted your life, so that you can understand what has happened and why it's happened. And that is here. You're going to work through what the uncovering phase may look like in these 2 sheets. the uncovering phase. And then step 2, the decision phase. During the second phase, you're going to gain a deeper understanding of what forgiveness is and what the decision to choose or reject forgiveness as an option. This is where you get to understand what forgiveness is to you and make the decision to whether or not you want to choose to forgive or not choose to forgive. So you're going to scroll down and you're going to see the decision phase, right? So what are some of the pros of being able to forgive? What are some of the cons? And that's kind of what you're going to work through. And then once again, the work phase. During the work phase here, my friends, you will start to understand the offender in a new way, which will allow positive feelings toward the offender and yourself. You're going to work through these exercises here to help you understand kind of what the offender did, which will allow you to experience more positive feelings toward the offender and to yourself. It's a beautiful process in the work phase. And finally, the deepening phase. During this deepening phase of forgiveness, you will further decrease the negative emotions that you're currently experiencing with your heartbreak. You will find meaning in the experience, and you'll turn that breakdown into a breakthrough, that heartbreak into happiness, by recognizing ways in which you have grown as the result. So this is the first exercise worksheet that you're going to be working on. Now I'm going to pause the video and we are going to get into exercise number 2 here in a moment. See you next.